the Subaru Studios at the center of the rock universe. Under the big windmill, it's big. This is WLVQ Columbus, QFM 96. Bringing you the best local rock in town. It's a Homegrown Thursday on QFM 96.
I've got a couple of different guests joining me for this Homegrown Thursday, one in studio, one over the phone. It was a tough week for a lot of musicians and rock fans, especially from Ohio, with the news of the passing of Joey C. Jones. Joey was the frontman for Sweet Savage, Shock 2, Joey C. Jones, and the Glory Hounds, and other projects as well. I've got Rick Soga in studio with me, and then Chad Stewart out in L.A. On the phone. And I want to start with you, Soga. Bandmates with Joey in Shock 2. When and where did that friendship and musical relationship start?
We started very young. He had moved to Columbus, and he was in a band called Assassin, and we kind of just became friends, and he started helping me with my career. He was just, at that time, he was Bobby Joe Crabtree, so he was just a sweetheart of a guy, and he had definitely formed two different kind of personalities with Bobby Joe Crabtree, and then there was Joey C. Jones that was developed later. But we became friends there, and then he helped me out with like a lot of bands that I had at the early point of my career. Right. So at that point, we both kind of followed each other through the path, and he got into Sweet Savage, was an incredible band that had such a great image and cool songs. And I went out to LA and watched those guys record with Dana Strum, and Dana was producing them. I got to meet Dana and talk about Randy Rhoads and all this great stuff. And I was such a young guy, and I just knew I came back. I said, I want to do a band, but I want to be in a band with Joey, but he's already in Sweet Savage. And I came back, and then I got a call from Mark Chatfield, and Mark asked if I wanted to audition for the Gods, and I auditioned, and Eric Moore was, incredible, and being in the Gods, I joined them. It was great. But the whole time Joey and I were working together, talking about bands, and I was writing songs. And so finally, that's when his band was starting to fall apart, and the Gods were just, it wasn't working out. I wanted to kind of do something else. And we formed Shock 2. I wrote these songs, and he had some ideas, and we put these songs together, and it got popular fast. It got really popular fast. He's an amazing guy. He was just amazing. He was an amazing performer, amazing, just a friend, all that.
Faster Pussycats, Chad Stewart on the phone with us. And Chad, you reached out to me earlier in the week and brought up that last show in Dallas with Joey and Soga. If you could talk about that night. Also, the fingerprint that Joey C. Jones left on Ohio, Texas, and that scene that was in L.A.
Well, I first saw Joey. I was 15 years old, sneaking into the El Rosa to see Shock 2. And that's when I met Rick and Joey, and man, it changed my life, honestly. I mean, I wouldn't be in Faster Pussycat if it wasn't for Shock 2, and that's the 100% truth. When we found out that Joey wasn't doing so well, he had mentioned to all of us, I was going through Texas with Faster, and he had mentioned to me that he was going to try to do a show that expanded his entire career, and have members of every band that he was in, be a part of it. So I said, hey, listen, if there's any room for me, I would love to do it. And then we got the phone call from the people that were helping him out, and said, hey, this is what's going to go down. And so I met Rick in Texas, and we put some stuff together, and we all did this show, and we did it at Trees in Dallas, and it was fantastic. And it makes my heart full knowing that Joey got to do one more show with all of his friends, with all of his band members, with everybody who's been with him throughout the years. One last time to go get up there and celebrate his life and his legacy. Rick can expand on this as well. I know how much I got text message from Stevie Rochelle from Tough. Rick got a text message from his buddy who knows Bret Michaels, and Bret had sent a text. I mean, like the imprint that Joey left on the Los Angeles scene is unbelievable.
Well, and you see these pics, and Soga, this I could talk about this with you, like Chad was saying. I mean, you see these pics side by side with legends that Joey helped influence in a lot of ways. Go ahead, Soga.
Yeah, I mean, it was wild. I remember, Joey was in Arizona and did a gig, and Rob Halford came up and sang, and it's like it was Bret Michaels. We did shows with when Poison and Warrant were out. Janie was, of course, he's from Cleveland and Cleveland area, and Janie was just like a big fan of Joey. He knew him from L.A. and back playing at the country club and all that, and Bret, and they found out that we were playing, and they were at Reunion Arena, and they said, after this, we're headed right over to go see Shock 2 play. And, I mean, there was a line around the block. It was crazy. This is in Dallas. And, then they ended up just all getting off the tour bus and come up and playing with us. And it was like, Janie was like, no, I'll play drums. I'll play bass. Joey, you sing. And Joey was just like, no, everybody was just like, let him sing.
They wanted him to do it.
Yeah. It was
I recorded my podcast last night, and it was a cat named Beasley. He's the road manager for Enough's Enough, and he was talking. The reason I'm bringing this up is because Chad mentioned those Friday nights at the Al Rosa watching Shock 2, and he brought that up. We did a whole little segment there on Joey and Shock 2 and Sweet Savage and what that music meant to him, and those Friday nights at the Al Rosa, seeing Shock 2, and then later on in life meeting Joey at different gigs and stuff. And just what a sweetheart he was to everybody and anyone he met.
Yeah, he was. There was like I said, there was two sides of him. There was a side that was off stage, and he was Bobby Joe. He was just the sweetest guy. He would, I was just talking to my keyboard player Les, and we were talking about how we would just be on a road trip, going, God, traveling miles and miles, and Joey would be saying prayers for people that were broken down, or he would take his coat off and just give it to people at gas stations, or he would buy them food. He had zero money. He had a baby, had a wife that beautiful family, and he still would take the jacket right off his back and give it to you. He was that kind of a guy.
Guys, we're gonna play a song here. We're gonna play some Shock 2, and before I say goodbye and thank you guys for taking this time and telling these stories. The song we're going to hear, we're going to do Summer Song from Shock 2.
Yeah.
Talk about that song.
When I joined the band, Joey had the seed of the song. It was done, but not in the exact way that it is on this tape. So, Joey and I got together and we worked on the song a little bit, and then we turned it into pretty much it was a staple of our set. It was one of the most popular songs we had. In fact, a lot of people were trying to, at the time, were seeing if we would, were willing to sell the song.
Right.
But there were so many different songwriters on it that, it was one of those, would it be a nightmare if it was on a movie soundtrack or any of that stuff, or, on a record, because we'd have to divide things up fairly, on who all contributed to it. But it was a really special song for Joey. He played it all the way from Los Angeles, to Ohio, and it was always something that we were really proud of.
Rick Soga, thank you so much. Chad Stewart, man, that's so cool of you to check in with us as well. I really do appreciate you guys.
Can I say one thing?
Brother.
Yeah, absolutely. Guys, go ahead. Yeah, before I even play the song,
I just want to say one more thing. Joey passed from cancer, and he never got screened. I think as a public service, I think everybody that's listening, please go get screened. Go get checked out. Even if you feel okay, do that. I mean, I'm involved in a charity, the Buckeye Cruise for Cancer, and we raise millions of dollars to help people. And I think it's very important that you get a screening. And he would want me to say that.
Absolutely.
Remembering Joey C. Jones on this Homegrown Thursday. Here's Summer Song from Shock 2 on QFM 96.
QFM 96.